Spider-Man No Way Home's second trailer is here and has got me very excited for this movie, probably like everyone else. One thing that was a bit off was definitely the poster. A lot of people have been complaining about the poster and for it to be better, so in this video I decided to make my own poster, but the thing is, I don't make posters very often, so let's see if it's going to be better than the Marvel one. Yo guys, hope you're all having a wonderful day. In this video we're making a Marvel's poster specifically for the Spider-Man No Way Home. So the second trailer come out the other day and obviously got everyone very hyped for the new movie that comes out in December. But then one thing that stuck out to a lot of people, that the poster didn't really look up to its standards like in their past movies to do with Marvel or any other Spider-Man. Normally they look pretty decent and no one really complains about them or think about it, but this year it really stuck out that it just didn't look the same. Maybe this year it was a last minute decision, or it could be that they spent millions on VFX and they forgot about the poster, or my theory is that the poster is going to have 3 Spider-Mans in, maybe, even though that spoiled the movie, but still they probably haven't come up with the full poster idea, because obviously at the minute it would just spoil everything within the trailer before anything's out. Maybe that's an idea. They'll probably have a newer version when the actual movie comes out, and I think it'd be pretty sick. So the first thing that I did for this poster was definitely the tentacles. That is probably the thing that I'm going to struggle at the most, because I couldn't find any good PNGs out there or anything to use. So I actually went into Blender and I modeled these tentacles up pretty quickly. As well, I tried using a lot of references, and as well for the textures that we'll get into very shortly. But for myself, not familiar with modeling, I think I've done a pretty okay job at this. So for this, it was kind of just using references and splitting it into many parts. So for the main tentacle arms itself, I split it into 3 sections. So you have the main tentacle itself that is on the outside, you have like kind of the beams that make it bend on, like, I guess the inside, and then you have a circle bit that makes it a bit more solid. That's what I found with references online, so that's what I did. So obviously I didn't have to model every single one of these, I just used the array modifier for each one of these, and then I could extend it as long as I could, and it didn't take very long. So you have your tentacle there, and that is the first little bit done. So for the claw itself was pretty simple and also a little bit challenging at the same time. As well, the easiest bit was obviously that I only had to make it once, and then I duplicate it around, and it was pretty much the same shape overall. So then all I had to do is make it bigger, maybe a bit longer or skinnier. So I just made the same shape and then pretty much just duplicated it and just changed it up a little bit. Quite simple. But after I had my model complete as well, I had to go on to rigging it, but before I did that I added some little bit of details. So I went back in as well, added some like little cuts and grooves and little bits like that to obviously give it a bit more depth, that it's not like a clean polish of that, I guess, model. So to finish off the tentacle, I had to rig it and add the textures. The rigging was obviously very simple, so that only took like 5 minutes. And then the bit that I like to do the most is definitely the texturing. So obviously that's to do with like the metallic, the roughness, and obviously the normal matte to give it a bit of depth. And I think it come out pretty good. Obviously not exactly like the movies, but as well for myself, I think I'm very impressed with it. That is probably one of my first like hard surface 3D models. So for everything complete, that all I had to do is pretty much get the main posing done. So I added all of my models into a project in Blender, and then I started posing, probably one of my favorite bits to do. So for my idea was to make something a bit more chaotic, and for that I had the tentacles come round and it was like he was dodging them or trying to like parry them away. I used a reference for this that is a poster from the comics that I guess come out many years ago. Obviously mine isn't going to be this in depth, and obviously I'm not going to do it exactly the same, but this is my idea for it and I thought it would look really cool. I think if I want to take it a step further, I would add like more things into it, like the Green Goblin if I had that model or something like that, and other bits and bobs, like maybe even the other 2 Spider-Mans. That would be a really good thing to add as well. I could probably try that in the near future. So one of the last bits to do was definitely the lighting, probably one of my favorite bits to do, and at this point I had no idea what to do with the lighting. So for a while I was just playing around with what looked pretty good, and I found that the lighting from the bottom looked pretty nice. So obviously I made that orange to make it look like it was like fire, or there's sparks or smoke coming up from under beneath, and I thought that's a good touch to it. So then I obviously had the dark side of like the tentacles and him that was a bit darker, and I thought that's pretty good. Obviously the foreground I like to make darker as well. I thought it just has a good composition of how it looks. And with a little bit of time, we are finally finished within Blender. I have everything posed and everything with some decent lighting. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this result. Now, the bit that I kind of had no idea what to do, and that was the Photoshop. So normally for posters, you would do quite a lot of things here and add other props and do a lot of lighting, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I started looking at other posters that other people did, and a lot of them had like the cities in the background with like a cloudy sky, the lightning and the Green Goblin. Some of those things I did forget to actually add in there. I probably should have like added more things now I look at it, but I could definitely do that in the near future. Like add more Spider-Mans or Green Goblin, maybe even Sandman or other bits and bobs that I can add in there as well for my future project. So my overall idea in the end was obviously have that city background that I'm pretty sure I took from Homecoming, the first Spider-Man movie. And then I had the cloudy sky to obviously make it a bit darker, added some like rain effects, mist. You know, you could probably name all of the things that I did here, nothing too crazy, just gave that bit of definition. And then to finish it off, I added like a bit of motion, blur, noise, sharpness, little things like that. So that's pretty much the overall breakdown for this video that I made. As well, for this poster, I'm quite happy with it, how it come out. I definitely enjoy like making the stuff in Blender. That's kind of like what I do. And for my first time making a poster, I'm very happy with how that come out. I definitely want to make more of these in the future, if that is upcoming movies or if to do with anything else that comes out in the future, or I just do more Spider-Man stuff because that is really fun to do. So hope you guys did enjoy this video. Leave a like and also subscribe if you're new. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.